Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to Am I the Asshole Podcast. Woo, didn't want to burp into the microphone. Oh man, but welcome back. It is another beautiful Thursday episode. We got some exciting upcoming stuff with our book. We're going to be doing 4 chapters of our beautiful book today. We're going to be doing 24, 25, 26, and 27, giving you guys 4 chapters of the juiciness. Man, is the book getting pretty good. I personally still feel like the book hasn't really, I don't know, like shit's happening, but it ain't really happening. I don't know. It seems like it's still trying to, get going. And so hopefully in these 4 chapters, we can kind of get a little more going. Because obviously at this point, I think James is completely broken Wendy. If I'm being honest with you, Wendy out here like, whoo, the coochie is just, it's his now. Like she is all for it. And then obviously James is kind of, in this weird like lust love kind of thing, and so he looks at it like, I love her, but I don't know if I fully do, and I still have this hatred towards her dad and everything like that. So we'll see how this continues on, and we'll see how their relationship either blossoms or withers away. We'll see what happens. But before we get into the book, we have a juicy thread, and our thread for today is, what was your most spontaneous hookup? Oh baby, well, let's see what you guys' most spontaneous and crazy hookups have got y'all into. All right, our first one is, I once went to walk into a pub, and as I arrived, a woman who I didn't know was leaving. I held the door for her. She proceeded to respond by inviting me to her house, and I quote, to fuck. Oh, okay. Anyway, we had some drinks. I reluctantly let her read my palms, saw her stone collection, and then went to do the deed. We did it again in the morning, and I never saw her again. What the heck? I mean, where is that interaction for me? When can I find a girl that is just like, I hold the door open for her, and she's just like, oh, yum. Trying to fuck, what the heck, man? Goddamn. Must be nice to just be an absolute Chad. You know what I mean? God, us guys, we gotta try a little harder. You know what I mean? We gotta struggle out in this camp. Goddamn, it must be really nice to be a Chad. Damn. One day. All right, what was your most spontaneous hookup? Met a wonderful woman at a Dallas airport in a bar. I was already bellied up to the bar, and there was only one seat open in the entire joint next to me. She walked up to the hostess stand. We immediately locked eyes. She walked up and asked if the seat was taken. Fast forward an hour, I had just boarded my plane. Doors closed, but haven't pushed away. She texted me something along the lines of, wouldn't it be fun to spend the night with a totally random chick in Dallas? What? I told the flight crew I had a family emergency and had to get off the plane. Yo, this nigga was like, I am getting some booty. Fuck this flight. The rest is history. Dated for a few months, traveling back and forth to see each other. Probably one of the best moments of my life. I don't think I'll ever experience that kind of chemistry /spark again. I miss that woman. Yo, where in the hell are y'all finding these forward ass women? Because anytime like I'm out in public, say, and I see a girl and we like lock eyes or whatever, and then I stroll over, I'm like, bam, ooh, ah, and I'm like, hey girl, what's up? Then they look at me like I shot a dog or something, and I'm like, well, what happened? I just can't, we locked eyes, right? we locked eyes. So I was thinking, that's like code for come talk to me. Or maybe not. I don't know. Am I wrong in that? Let me know down in the comments. Am I wrong? Like we locked eyes and I walk over. I'm like, A. And then, I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And then she looking at me like I shot a dog or something. I'm like, what happened? And like, it's one of those where, she'll like talk to me, but it's like pulling teeth to get her to talk back, and like continue the conversations and stuff. That's kind of the interactions I get sometimes. And I'm like, what? I thought you was feeling me like I was feeling you, feeling me, feeling you. Like, what happened? So I don't know, man. One day, I guess I'm not a Chad enough, All right, what was your most spontaneous hookup? Heard a push notification at 2:30 a.m. Opened OkCupid to see a girl message me. By 3:30 a.m. we were naked in bed together. No, nigga, what? Left at 5 a.m. to go to work. Never heard from her again. Thanks, Janet. That's crazy. That's crazy. Man, maybe I should try OkCupid. Maybe that's where they at. I don't know. Because I tried Bumble. Bumble's trash. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's weird because like on Bumble, it was a thing where I had a lot of girls match me. But it's one of those things where like, okay, you matched me, but on this app, the girl is supposed to text first, but for some reason they're waiting for me to text. I didn't get it. I was like, I had like 7 matches and I'm like, all right, where the conversation at? Like, and I'm over here thinking to myself, like, what's going on here? Like, hello, you guys got to start the conversation. Just put hi. Just put HI send. And I'll take the conversation from there. But for some reason, nothing ever happened. And so then like some of them expired. And I think like 2 or 3 actually like extended it. But they didn't message shit. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You extended it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to do this whole dating online thing. I tried it because I was, my mom was like, oh, try Bumble. It might be because I tried Hinge first. And yeah, Hinge was cool. Like I met some people, but it was like a lot of the girls on there like to do drugs. That was kind of scary to me. And I was just like, okay, yeah. It was kind of one of those things where like I had told myself, I kind of made it a challenge and I was just like, you know what, for an entire month, on the show, I always talk about like, oh, dating apps are like a waste of time, this and that. But then I thought to myself, I was like, well, I've never tried one personally. So I gave myself an entire month, and I was on there and yeah, it's just a fucking waste of time. I was like, I was right, but I never had that kind of experience, man. All right, let's get back to the thread. Get back to the topic. What was your most spontaneous hookup? Was at this place called the Tiki Lounge in Pittsburgh. My drunk buddies and I stormed the dance floor. Next thing I know, some girls grinding on me, and shortly after, she was blowing me in a little seating area to the side. I was young and drunk as fuck. I remember people kept coming up and taking pictures. I'm probably on a website somewhere. Wild times. That's insane. People were coming up to y'all and like taking pictures of my man getting his meat sucked. That's crazy. Yeah, you might find homeboy on a corn website somewhere. That's insane. What the hell? Hey, I'm sure at this point he's found himself. He's like, hey, that's me right there in the tiki spot getting my dick sucked. Shit. All right, it's funny because there's a lot of this has all been like dudes experiencing girls coming up to them. I would have, I guess not a lot of girls really have guys come up to them and then they're like, oh yeah, I smashed him. All right. What was your most spontaneous hookup? I had a cute guy come up to me at work. at a work conference. We chatted for a minute and went our separate ways. Later that night, we met up at a corporate dinner, and the flirting cranked up to 100. Eye contact, smiles, suggestive comments, thigh grabbing, and by the time we got back to the hotel, I was practically panting. I wanted him so bad. I still think about that night. So, did you let him smash? You know what I mean? Like, did you let him do the deed? Because my biggest thing is, like, if my man only got as far as touching the thigh and all that, like, that's gotta suck. I bet man's had blue balls like crazy. Oh, hopefully he did. Hopefully he did get the smash. Like, damn. That's gotta suck. That's gotta suck. And getting that far, it's like getting right to the thing, and then it's like, like, oh, yeah. Because some people, I think this is mostly girls. They love like the build up, but they don't actually like doing, the actual thing. You know what I mean? They like the build up leading to almost sex. Yeah, because it's like hot and it's mysterious and it's like, oh my God. And then, once it gets like right there, then the girl sometimes is just like, no, we can't do this. Yeah, I mean, like, that's gotta. So I personally have never experienced that. I do have friends that have told me stories where they're, they would meet a girl or they would start talking to a girl, whatever the case may be, and then like it would be building, and then it gets like right there, and then she's like, oh no, we can't, and it's like, oh man, and I was like, damn, and they always tell me, they're like, bro, it's the worst blue balls ever, and I'm like, oh, son. I mean, luckily I've never experienced that. Thank goodness, but woo. All right. What was your most spontaneous hookup? During Hurricane Katrina, damn, this was a long time ago. Recovery, I was 17 and did volunteer work. There were teens from all over the country there. We had a shower trailer with 4 showers, and we would shower in shifts. I worked with a crew super late and got to camp at 1 a.m. I go to the shower because no one should have been there. There was a super cute girl my age getting out as soon as I walked in. It was awkward at first, but she rolled with it. Talked for a few minutes while she was drying off. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. And I got in the shower. I was washing my hair when I hear the curtain open, and she got in with me. We made out like crazy and had absolutely mind-blowing sex. We left the trailer, and I never saw her again. Damn, that's crazy. Hey, my thing is, where? I need to get out of the house more. That's what it is. I need to get out of the house more. I need to get out. I need to get out more and try to find these very forward ass chicks, man. Because I'm like, where they at? Where they at, son? I wanna experience this. Where, like I said, every time I have that experience of just like, locking eyes, and I'm like, I go talk to her. It's like pulling teeth to continue to get her to talk. I'm like, bro, what? Did you want to just keep staring across the room or what? Like, shit. Yeah, man. All right. What was your most spontaneous hookup? I met a girl at a concert and got her number kind of on accident. I was just trying to find my friend and I was leaving. She only gave me her number for that. She was 0% interested in me. Oh, that sucks. So I ended up texting her the next week to see what she was doing, and she begrudgingly told me they were going out. Oh, after we met up with them, went back to her apartment, and I thought she wanted nothing to do with me. So at 2 a.m. I'm driving home. On a whim, I texted her, I wish I could have stayed. She responded, well, come back then. Whoa, we will be married 9 years in June, and our son will be 3 in a few months. That's crazy. Wait, what? Yo, that's a crazy way to meet your wife. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've had a situation like that happen. This was at Warped Tour. Oh man, showing my age. Warped Tour doesn't even exist anymore. But it was like, was it the last Warped Tour? It might have been either the last Warped Tour or maybe like the second to last Warped Tour. But I had met like this random ass white girl. She was super cute too. And we were watching the band The Used. And the band was, they were doing this thing where they were like, oh yeah, man, we should just love each other. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like put your arm around the person next to you and this and that and give them a kiss. You know what I mean? And like, I had put my arm around this girl and I'm thinking it's just like, this kumbaya type shit, and then they were like, kiss. And she was just like, well, and I was like, well, and so then we kissed and then we like hung out the whole time. And it was weird. I even met her dad too. And her dad was like so cool with me, like just hanging out with her, because we were like holding hands and being cute and shit, and I was like touching on her and stuff. And then she was like, oh yeah, like my dad's gonna, meet up with us for a little bit, blah, blah. And I was just like, wait, what you mean your dad? And she was like, no, he's cool, da da da. And so then like I meet her dad and I'm just like, he's like, hey, what's going on, man? Nice to meet you. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, so you guys been hanging out, da da da. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And it was so weird. I mean, he was practically like, yeah, oh, if you happen to fuck my daughter, it's cool. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I remember we went to one of the booths, and this was the time where the whole like I Heart Boobies thing was like a big thing, and they put it like on shirts and bracelets and shorts and all kind of stuff. And so there was like some booty shorts, and I was like, oh, you look so hot in those. And she was like, oh, buy them for me and I'll wear them. And I was like, word? They were like $20. I so bought them. Her butt cheeks were out all day, and I was feeling on the booty cheeks all day. It sucked because we had dated for a little bit, and then she moved out of the state. I think she moved to like Arizona or some shit. Man, she was the best though. She was the best. Damn, good times, man. Good times. All right, what was your most spontaneous hookup? Working security at a facility that closed on Thanksgiving. Coworker who I thought was cute came over to eat lunch. Talking, flirting, asked to get access to the server room. I unlocked it, then heard her knock like 30 seconds later. I went over and she had her pants off. Oh, it was raunchy, hot and sexy. The phrase, I'm fixed, fill me up, yo! Oh, I couldn't hear that. I'd be like, you want me to load it up? You best believe. Best believe I'm loading it up, girl. God damn. Was grunted. We cleaned up and never spoke about it again until she hit me up 6 months later to help her move. I'm sure she did. And I bet you were just like, we ain't got to use no protection. I can just fill that thing up. God damn, son. That's the best right there. That's the best. What was your most spontaneous hookup? University library, finals week senior year, matched with a guy on Tinder. We met up that same day, did the deed quickly out on a table on the top floor of the library. And the next day, a mutual friend of my best friend told her she heard people hooking up in the library. Oh shit. She was like, what? You heard somebody? That's crazy. I wonder who would do that. Whoa. Oh, shit. Hey, man. I sadly never had that college experience like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when I did go to college, like, on a campus, we didn't really have Tinder and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think it existed, but it wasn't popular. You know what I mean? It wasn't, like, popular like it is now. Dating apps just weren't, like, a thing. Like, they existed, but nobody's really using them like that. Like, if you used them, everybody was kind of like, you're weird. You know what I mean? It was one of those, like, it was very brand new. So nobody really used them. I'd be envious, and I mean envious of the dudes that are going to college now. They just Tinder it up, man. And they're just like, oh yeah, because back then we used to have to go to like parties in order to like really meet, girls in college at that time. I only ever went to like 2 parties, just because I found a lot of college kids very pretentious and just like fucking entitled. They were just, oh God, they were the worst. And I went to a tech school. So it was one of those things where I was just like, cause I went for graphic design and animation. And so, it was one of those things where I was just like, a lot of these kids, they weren't even really there to like actually get a degree. They were just there to like party and fuck and everything. Yeah, because they were all rich kids. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, all right, fuck you guys. But when I would go to the parties and stuff like that, it was like, yo, this where the bitch is at. You know, I was like, yo, because you walk around campuses and stuff like that, it seems like you see the same people over and over and over again. Your classes, you see the same people over and over again. But then when you go to the parties, you're like, I didn't know you even went to this school. Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's kind of crazy. You're just like, who the hell? Man, God, good times. Man, this thread has got me reminiscing like crazy. Jeez. All right, what was your most spontaneous hookup? I had a buddy tell me to come meet him in the bathroom. I figured he had scored a bag and we were going to do some blow. I finished smoking my cigarette and headed in. Then I walked in and he had a girl bent over and was fucking her doggy style, both facing the door. She looked up at me and told me to put it in her mouth. Yo! Had no clue that that was what I was walking into, my man. Damn, they Eiffel Towered this girl. They Eiffel Towered this girl. She was like, put it in my mouth. I mean, I was like, I'm not going to say no. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Woo. Woo. That's crazy, son. All right. Oh. All right. This is going to be our last one, and then we'll go ahead and get into the book, all right? What was your most spontaneous hookup? I was in college, but home for break. Parents left for a long weekend, leaving me home alone. Texted a college buddy of mine that I would have a house party, except I didn't have any friends who lived nearby. I went to boarding school for high school, so none of my high school friends were local. He said he could bring like a dozen of friends if I had booze. Sure enough, a couple of hours later, he rolls up in the driveway and leading a caravan of cars. Ended up with like 15 total strangers in my house, but they were all super cool. One girl I thought was really cute and had my sights set on her. Unfortunately, she got sick early in the evening, so with her friend's blessing and help, we put her to bed in my bed, and I moved on with my night without any intentions of getting with anyone. Night turns into wee hours, and the morning of the people leaving or finding places to sleep, my buddy and a friend of his helped me clean up a little bit. This friend was a model, like an actual model, nothing big time. No one would have ever heard of her or recognized her, just regional shit. But she was tall, like close to 6 feet tall. I am nowhere near that, and gorgeous. Oh, my man was just like, I will climb that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Me too, brother. You know what I mean? Shit. But she was tall and gorgeous. The thought never even crossed my mind. So the three of us finish up cleaning. My buddy goes to the room he picked out, and the model friend asks where I was sleeping. I told her my parents' bed, and she said, great, and walked right into the bedroom. My goodness. I'd have been like, wait, is it my birthday? You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. All right. I told her in my parents' bed, and she said, great, and walked right into the bedroom. Sex was fine, nothing to write home about. She was probably one of those, like, hot girl starfish sex type. Damn, that sucks. Nothing to write home about, but it was just the most random sex I had ever had. Just moments before, I hadn't even considered it or thought I had a chance. Never saw her again, but maybe 10 years later, I sat with her parents at a wedding. Presumably, they did not know who I was. I mean, that's good that the parents didn't know who you were, because, I mean, you know, it's like, hey, I clapped your daughter that one time. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of weird. But, yeah, hey, man. All this thread has taught me is that I need to get out more. You know, maybe, you know, girl be spontaneous on me. You never know. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's funny because we talked about this in a thread a while ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago, but I remember what the thread was, so you guys might be able to find the episode. It's, what is the, I think, like, most... weirdest place that a guy has ever hit on you at, something like that. And in that episode, I had talked about how like a lot of times, I'll be out and I'll meet a girl and I'm just like, I won't hit on her because she's working, or, it's like, it just seems like, she's kind of, I don't know. It just seems like, she didn't come here for this. Like, and so I'm like, nah, I'm good. And a lot of times I like it to be in like, say she's just, at the mall shopping or whatever, or she's just at the grocery store, just doing her thing. And so a lot of times I won't bother. I'm like, it is what it is. But definitely the eye contact thing. Like if I'm making eye contact with you and you make an eye contact back, you give me a little smile or something like that, then I'm like, oh yeah. Now, of course, that doesn't always happen where it's like, eye contact, she sees me seeing her seeing me, and then we walk up and it's like pulling teeth. But most of the time it is because they're just like, this random guy's talking to me, like, and I'm like, and maybe I guess they're looking back at me like, what is this guy staring at? I don't know. Maybe they give me the smile, they get, what I mean? It's like a little bit of that, like, they do the little ear thing. Yeah, I'll be like, I thought that, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a crazy, insane man. I don't know. But if you have a spontaneous moment that's ever happened to you, definitely put it down in the comments. Get a part of the thread. We are going to zoom through announcements so we can get into the book. All right. So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast, man. $3 a month gets you that exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. All right. $3 a month. That's it, baby. Get that exclusive episode every single Friday and send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Thursday episode. Tuesday and Sunday. Sorry. Tuesday and Sunday episode. But if you want to help out on the free 99 side, audio listeners, definitely download the podcast. Keep downloading, man, and rate us 5 stars. Helps out a lot. And guess what? It is absolutely for free. So I love when you guys show your support in that way. And if you want to show your support even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like the video, all that good stuff, man. Appreciate all the support you guys have been showing so far, man. Again, my subscriber goal for the end of this year is 2,000. Hopefully we can hit 2K by the end of this year. I'm hoping so. We will see though. And on Monday, catch the streams, catch us streaming, catch us live, because I love when I get to interact with you guys and, we get to chat and have fun in the whatever game we're playing and stuff like that. So, and I'm always playing a different game. I'm always, changing shit up, and I mainly do it to get to, you guys get to talk to me and ask me questions and all that kind of stuff. So I love it when you guys get involved with the streams. Anytime you see me live, definitely pop on by, say what's up, all that good stuff. All right. And then, don't worry if you miss, any of the lives. I do have a VOD playlist that you can catch the lives. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the book. We have 4 chapters for y'all lovely people, so we're gonna go ahead and get into that. I'm gonna move you guys over and we will get into that. All right.
24. James. I leave Wendy at her house with barely more than a goodbye, impatience snapping at my insides like a rubber band with every wasted second. The trip to Rockford Prep took longer than anticipated, but I felt it important to let the headmaster know what I expect of his staff when it comes to Jonathan Michaels. I'm not sure why I feel such a kinship with him. Maybe because he's Wendy's brother, and since she's mine, by proxy he is as well. Or maybe it's because I see so much of myself in him. I notice the way his muscles tense, defending against an offence he knows he can't control. In either case, I could tell from simply looking in Wendy's eyes that today was a struggle. She would have been able to do it on her own, of course. In the short time I've been with her, it's easy to tell that while she's docile and well-mannered around the majority of the world, she's also strong-willed and loyal to a fault. She loves her brother, and for some reason, that type of familial bond resonates, making me want to ensure her happiness when it comes to the people whom she loves. It's another 30 minutes before my tyres are crunching on the gravel path leading to Cannibal's Cave. The sun has barely set, bathing the landscape in a pinkish hue, not light enough to see clearly, yet not dark enough to be blind. I draw close to our normal meeting spot, my chest squeezing at the realization that there are no other cars here. I'm running behind, but I'm not that late, and a shiver skates up my spine, my gut telling me to stay alert. I park the car, leaving it running as I take in my surroundings. Emptiness. The weight of my knife is heavy in my pocket, and I reach across the console, opening the glove box, retrieving my gloves, and my H&P USP 40 pistol. Normally, I like to stick to my blades, preferring a more intimate touch, but my intuition has never steered me wrong, and it would be remiss of me to bring my knife to what could very well be a gun show. I slip on my gloves, one finger at a time, and lean my head to the side, a deep crack reverberating down my spine. Stepping out of the car, I reach behind me, slipping my pistol in the waist of my pants before moving forward. I walk slowly, not wanting to disturb the quiet of the air. My ears are wide open, waiting to hear Rue's boisterous laugh, or maybe his cutting words. But it's silent. Nothing but the sound of cicadas in the trees, and the breeze as it rustles through the leaves. The sky darkens as the sun continues to slip beneath the horizon, making my vision skew as I walk toward the cave entrance. We normally meet just outside of it, but perhaps for some reason they moved things farther in. My heart beats a slow and steady rhythm inside my chest. Having learned how to control its tempo long ago, back when my uncle used to tell me how much it pleased him to feel it quicken under his hands. Something is off. It's too quiet. My foot slips on something hard and I pause, glancing down as I lift the sole of my shoe. A glint of colour catches my eye. I suck in a breath, my heart faltering from its steady pace. Crouching down, I brush away the debris of fallen twigs and crispy leaves, revealing a blinding sparkle of red. Rubies, to be exact. My stomach churns. No. Straightening, I reach behind me to grab my gun, my stomach tense as I grip Rue's custom lighter in my hands. I move closer to the edge of the cave, and then I come to a crashing halt. The thunk of my pistol as it hits the ground is barely audible through the heavy whooshing in my ears, because right in front of me is Rue. Bound to a tree, nails protruding from his hands and feet, his middle split open from the inside out. Ice runs through my veins, shocking my nervous system until it buzzes like a staticky TV. I move forward with caution, my feet like lead, wanting to run the opposite way, to rewind time so I can undo this mistake. Breathing deeply through my nose, I swallow around the thick knot in my throat, my chin lifting as I take in the extent of damage done to his person. His eyes are open and bloodshot, the same eyes that showed me kindness when I was a young boy, only used to seeing hate. His mouth hangs lax, the same mouth that taught me to never give up, to never give in, the one that told me I was like a son. My chest twists so violently I retch, my body folding in half as I rest my hands on my knees, trying to control the heaving. Slowly, I straighten, my gaze moving to the ripped-apart flesh of his hands, the same hands that taught me how to wield a knife, how to shoot a gun, the ones that saved me years of torment from an evil even I can't comprehend. My stomach heaves again, and I glance away, nostrils flaring as I try and shove down the tidal wave of memories threatening to come to the surface. But it's too late. The surge of grief rises up and hits me like a hurricane, my mind not able to connect the mangled corpse in front of me with the man who taught me everything I know. The man who defended me against my nightmares. I walk closer still, my feet stumbling over the ground, hands shaky as I reach the tree. My shoe slips in a puddle, the liquid splashing onto the hem of my pants. I freeze, staring down at the pool of blood, the life force of the only man on this earth who cared enough to take me in. The burn in my middle flares, scratching up my throat and pouring from my eyes. Tears track down my face and drip off my chin. The gaping hole in my chest cracking and shaking until my insides feel like they'll rip in half from the quake. Bile burns the back of my throat from the smell of his insides, but I ignore the stench, my fingers reaching up and gripping the nail embedded into his left hand. It's slippery, caked with blood that's starting to dry, and as I tense my arm and pull, the sick pop of metal releasing from flesh is enough to make even the strongest of stomachs churn. I stare at the nail in my palm, feeling as though it's been hammered through me, until something dark and heavy breaks through the cracks, slithering up my middle and wrapping around my neck like a noose. And as I force myself to finish his other limbs, his body slumping down the tree and dropping on the ground, I realize that even the most fractured of hearts have further to break, because mine was just decimated to ash. They didn't just kill him. They gutted him and strung him up for the animals to feed. But I'm worse than any of the wild that lives in these woods, and I'll hunt down everyone involved like prey, bathing in their blood and dancing to their screams until they repent for their sins. My teeth grind so hard my jaw pops, my vision going blurry as a deep ache settles heavy in my chest. I could have prevented this, but I was with Wendy. My head looks to the sky, my mind shattering into a million pieces as I wonder if somehow she was in on this plan. If she knew that by distracting me her father could sneak in and once again take away the only thing that matters. His little shadow. Words from George the baker flow through my head, only this time I see it from a different angle. My head is clear, no longer clouded with the lust of a woman who has the same DNA as the man responsible for so much of my pain. It was a woman. Said there was a new boss in town. Shock rushes through me like an electrical current, clashing with the simmer of my rage until they combust into an explosion of heat, wrath singeing through my veins and bursting from my pores. Acid teases the back of my throat. I had assumed it was Tina, Peter's assistant. But Wendy was there that day. She was there. I blow out a deep breath. My gloved hand runs over my mouth, the leather rough against my dry lips. They won't get away with it. My voice catches. I will make them suffer for every moment of pain you endured. My thumb brushes over the inscription on the lighter, still held tightly in my palm. Straight on till morning. With a deep breath, I flick it open, the clink of the lid and spark of the flame, the only sound other than the silent screams clawing at my soul. Rest easy, friend. Pain splinters through my stomach as I toss the lighter onto fallen leaves, watching as they catch fire and spread, Rue's body slowly being engulfed in the flames.
25. Wendy. There's a single sad cupcake in the center of my kitchen island, with gloppy white icing and sprinkles that look out of place, so colorful in a gray and empty house. It's been 3 days since John has gone, leaving me entirely alone and, quite frankly, depressed. I've always spent my time focused on family, not willing to let our brittle roots break after the death of my mother. But now, I don't really see the point. Happy birthday to me, I sigh, blowing out the flame. Glancing at my phone, my chest pinches tight. It's almost 7 in the evening, and other than a quick birthday text from Angie, no one has called all day. Not my father, not John, not James. Although, in James's defense, I've never told him when my birthday was, but he's been MIA since Monday, when he helped me take John to Rockford Prep. I took the day off from the vanilla bean, but now I'm regretting the decision. The hollow ring of loneliness echoing through the high ceilings and marble floors of my house. Suddenly my phone rings, and anticipation lights up my insides. But when I look at the ID and see it's my dad, disappointment casts a shadow like a storm cloud. I was wanting it to be James. And that revelation in itself sends a shockwave through me, because somewhere along the line in these past few weeks, my dad has slipped off his pedestal, the ache of missing him muted and dulled. Hey, Dad.
Little Shadow, happy birthday.
My stomach twists. Thank you. Wish you were here to celebrate.
Me too.
My stomach drops, and I feel stupid once again for hoping that maybe he was calling to say he was on his way.
Listen,
he continues.
I'm sending out some new security for the house tomorrow.
My nose scrunches. What? Why? My father has always had security for himself, but we've always kept our private home private.
I've had some idiots trying to blackmail me, and I need to make sure you're safe. That the house is safe.
I chew my lip. Blackmail? What? No, Dad, I don't need a freaking bodyguard. That's ridiculous. I laugh. I'll be fine.
This is not up for discussion, Wendy.
His voice is stern, and it cuts through me, making my lungs cramp in my chest. He speaks as though I'm a child, unable to care for myself, as if I'm not intelligent enough to handle the truth of whatever's going on. Blackmail. Give me a break. Dad, I'm not a kid anymore. Just tell me what's going on. Maybe I can help. He chuckles.
Wendy, you can't help. You just need to listen and do as I say.
Anger swims through my veins and my jaw tenses. Maybe a few weeks ago I would have just listened. But after being with James, after being treated as a woman whose voice is heard and whose opinions are valid, crawling back into the role my father expects me to play feels like steel bars clamping down on my soul. And I won't do it. But fighting with my father is as good as talking in circles, so I stay silent on the line, thinking about how I can handle things once I hang up. Maybe James can help. Okay, Dad, I hear you.
Good,
he responds.
I'll be home in the next few weeks, and we can have dinner. A night for just the two of us, okay?
My throat burns. Mm-hmm, I force out. A female voice cuts through the phone. Pete, where are you taking me tonight? I want to know if I should look fancy or if we're ordering in. My lungs cramp, realizing that he isn't working. He's just choosing to take Tina out on my birthday instead of making sure he's home to spend it with me. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine. I hang up the phone without saying goodbye, not sure I'll be able to stop the cutting words from flying off my tongue, and I don't want to say something I can't take back. There's a throbbing ache in the middle of my stomach, a sickly green feeling that weighs me down and makes me want to crack. But I don't. Heading up the stairs to my room, I decide to pack a bag and leave. I have a few $1,000s in my bank account, and while I'm sure my father won't be happy, there's really nothing he can do. He can't make me stay, after all. My bedroom is pitch black, the sun having set while I was staring at my cupcake, and I flick on the lamp by my bedside, my eyes snagging on the picture of my mother and me from when I was young. I wonder if she's somewhere looking down on us, feeling sad over the fact that she couldn't stick around. Maybe if she were still here, my dad would be too. Shaking my head, I ignore the burn radiating from the middle of my chest as I walk to my full-length mirror. My hands run over my pale green dress, smoothing out the wrinkles as I gaze into the glass. I pick up my hairbrush from the vanity next to me and point to my reflection. You aren't a child, Wendy. You are a bad bitch. Giggling at the phrase, I run the bristles over my hair, repeating the affirmation in my mind.
I agree. You are most definitely not a child.
My stomach jumps into my throat, hairbrush dropping to the floor as I meet an icy blue gaze in the mirror. My mouth opens on a sharp inhale, shock at seeing him in my room, freezing me in place. He moves quickly, his body pushing against mine until I'm flat against the glass, a knife glinting as he presses it to my face. His gloved palm smacking over my lips and muffling my scream before it can even think of escaping.
Now, Wendy, darling, he tisks. None of that.
My heart slams against my chest, confusion spinning around me like a spider's web. I'd like to think this is some big elaborate joke, but the pressure of his hold has dread sneaking up my spine. I watch him in the mirror, strands of his dark hair falling on his forehead, his black trench coat and leather gloves making him look like the angel of death. His blade gleams in the mirror's reflection, the metal cold as its hooked edge presses into my skin. Hooked. My stomach flips and twists, realizing where his nickname comes from. His free hand wraps around my hair, wrenching my head to the side, his nose skimming along the pale expanse of my neck.
Did you know fear has a scent?
My nostrils flare as I attempt to breathe, terror pulsing in time to the rapid pace of my heart. There's a sting from where he pulled my roots, and I focus on the pain to ground me.
No, I don't suppose you would.
His mouth turns down.
It's all to do with pheromones, really. The scent of fear triggers a reaction in the amygdala and hypothalamus, a type of warning, as it were, that humans have long since become numb to recognizing.
He leans back in, inhaling deeply, the tips of his hair tickling my skin. I try to keep my gaze steady, my body trembling from the adrenaline that's pumping through my veins, my mind racing as I try to think of a way out of the situation. Is he going to kill me? My insides pull tight, eyes burning at the realization that everything I thought I knew about him was a lie. Panic seizes my lungs, my hands shaking as they press against the mirror.
Your fear smells sweet,
he whispers. His palm trails down the front of my body, slipping under my dress and cupping between my legs. The fabric of his glove is rough against my sensitive skin, and horror trickles through my veins like a poison, freezing my blood and stalling my heart.
Tell me, darling.
His voice rumbles in his chest, vibrating through my back and making my hair stand on end.
Was deceiving me always your plan?
My stomach tenses, tears slipping down my cheeks and trailing over the back of his hand, melting into the leather before it can drip to the floor. I shake my head, my hair matting against his coat. I struggle for breath, wishing he'd release my mouth so I could ask him what the hell he's talking about.
I don't think I believe you.
His palm pushes against my center, and my traitorous clit swells against him.
After all, you've always been such a good girl, so incredibly adept at following direction.
He places a light kiss on my throat before resting his chin at the juncture between my neck and shoulder, smiling at our reflection.
So beautiful,
he says, sliding the flat edge of his knife across my cheek until the tip rests against the bow of my lips. It's oddly sensual, and my breath stutters as I try to maintain a facade of calm against the dichotomy of his actions and his tender touch. Who is this man?
Such a shame,
he sighs, dropping the knife from my face, his eyes locking on mine in the mirror.
This will only hurt for a second.
My brows furrow, my chest seizing when I see a syringe being pulled from his pocket. My body surges into fight-or-flight mode, my heart crashing against my sternum as my hands reach up to grapple against his arms, and then... nothing. 26. Wendy. It's the pounding in my head that wakes me. My lashes flutter, a sharp ache stabbing between my eyes. I try to press my palm against the pain, but my movement is stilted, something clanking when I move. I pull again, and my body jerks forward before falling back against something hard. My brain is sluggish, like driving out of a storm only to end up in thick fog. But as I start to wake, I realize that I am definitely not lying down, and my arms are stuck. The thought of opening my eyes fully makes my stomach churn, but still, I pry my lids apart one at a time, my face scrunched in preparation for the light. When my gaze focuses, I realize it's dark. Really dark. Awareness trickles back in, and my heart picks up speed, kicking against my ribs. I squint my eyes, trying to get my bearings, but it's hard to focus, hard to think. Swallowing, I wince against the scratch of my throat and peel my dry tongue from the roof of my mouth. I try to move my hands again, but they don't go far. That same clinking noise from earlier reverberating in my ears and off the walls. Glancing down, I can barely make out thick metal shackles clamped around my wrists. My stomach twists, a dose of panic flooding through my veins. I splay my fingers, feeling something cold and hard underneath me. Okay, Wendy. Everything is okay. My heart pounds a staccato rhythm as I blink quickly, trying to adjust my vision to see in the dark. But it's no use. The icy tendrils of fear snake up my spine, coiling like vines around my body and squeezing tighter with every breath. I yank my arms against the chains again, harder this time, causing a sharp ache to shoot down my arm and a sting to slice through my wrists. Closing my eyes, my head smacks against the cold wall as I try to steady my breathing. Being in a panic won't help. What happened? My birthday? Then James. Hook. The memory comes rushing through like a stampede, flooding over the mental barrier of my drowsiness and cracking my chest in two. A click sounds from the opposite side of the room, and my head turns toward the noise, my eyes squeezing when a door opens and light floods in from the hallway. Good. You're awake. My body trembles as I watch Curly step into the room. He shuts the door, leaving it wedged open a crack to allow the brightness to filter through. Ooh. I wince, the scratch in my throat making talking difficult. His steps are audible on the floor as he comes near, and I attempt to curl in on myself, to hide from this man as much as possible, even though there's nowhere for me to go. Curly stops in front of me, the right side of his lips pulling up. Hiya, sunshine. I stare at him for long seconds, disgust weaving through my insides and rolling around in my gut. He was always so sweet. I actually thought maybe we could become friends. But here he is, looking at me chained to a wall and smirking. Fuck! My voice catches, but I swallow around the sting and continue. You! He crouches down in front of me, a plastic plate in his hands. Now, that's not very nice. It's not like I put you down here. Anger simmers deep in my gut. I brought you some food. He reaches over, picking up a piece of what looks like bread. Open up. I press my lips together, turning my head. He sighs. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. Something inside of me snaps, and my eyes narrow, my face whipping back toward him. A small amount of saliva pools in my mouth as I take in the smell of the bread being held in front of me. I collect it at the tip of my tongue and spit in his face. The sound of the plate clattering to the floor is the only noise in the room, other than the beats of my heart and the sound of our breathing. His grin drops, his warm eyes icing over as he wipes the wetness from his cheek. Fine. He leans in. You can fucking starve. He grabs the plate from the floor and walks away. The door clicks open and closed, and I'm alone again, in the dark. My stomach cramps, a ball of something heavy and sharp expanding in my middle, tearing through my calm,
until I'm gasping for air, my heart beating so fast I think I may have a heart attack. Time moves differently when you're chained in an empty room. My mind is still woozy, and my body trembles with a shiver so deep I feel it in my bones. I go in and out of restless sleep, no matter how much I try to stay awake, to formulate some type of plan. My eyes peel open after another bout of losing consciousness. I had to have been drugged. I'm not sure how many hours it's been, or maybe it's been days, but my vision has long since adjusted to the darkness, and I'm able to clearly make out a long table pushed against the far edge of the room, a small mound of what looks like packaged powder stacked at one end. I squint my eyes, trying to see clearer, to figure out if it's something I can somehow get to and use to my advantage. But I know it's fruitless. There's nothing I can do. No weapons at my disposal, not that I'd know how to use them even if there were. No chance of getting to them, even if I did. What with me being stuck to a wall. All I have now is my faith. Trust. Pixie dust. My heart stutters at the silky accent, my stomach rising and falling like a roller coaster. My head snaps to the right, noticing for the first time since waking that there's a chair only a few feet away. And James is sitting in it, legs spread wide as he watches me, his gloved hands relaxing comfortably, with a knife in his lap. He tilts his head toward the table I was staring at. What you're looking at, it's pixie dust. My stomach cramps as he stands up and walks toward me, his beauty making my nerves light up. Nausea follows close behind at the way my body reacts to him, at the way I gave him everything, only for him to be the villain in disguise. The clack of his steps bounce off the walls, the vibration splitting open my chest, my blood pumping heartache on the floor. He stops in front of me, his perfectly polished black shoes resting at the tips of my bare feet. I grind my teeth, a sharp stab of pain vibrating up my jaw. You should eat. Get fucked, I spit out. He tisks. What did I tell you about that filthy mouth? My head tilts as I glare up at him. You've said a lot of things, Huck. Turns out I really, really don't give a damn about a single one. The curse words feel strange as they fall from my lips, but right now, they're all I have. I know they bother him, and since I can't break free and scratch his eyes out with my nails, I have to settle for what I've got. His lips curve into a thin smile. It sends shivers down my spine. He points at me with his knife. I'm not the liar here, darling. Let's not cast stones from glass houses. I don't even know what's going on. My body jerks as I pull at the chains, my hands smacking uselessly against the floor. His eyes flick from my face to where I'm bound to the wall, the grin dropping from his face. Playing the victim is a terribly unbecoming trait. His voice is flat, and the hollow tone makes my chest compress, realizing the warm charm I was used to has disappeared entirely. I huff out a breath, disbelief squeezing my middle. You have me chained to a wall, I state. He nods. A temporary tactic, I assure you. My eyes narrow, anger bubbling in my gut. You drugged me. He flips his knife through his fingers, the move so practiced and smooth it sends a spike of fear bolting through my chest. Would you have come willingly? His brow lifts. A ball lodges in my throat, my insides fracturing from the strength it takes to keep from letting tears escape. I would have gone anywhere with you. My voice breaks. Please, I lose the battle to my emotions, and wetness coasts down my face, the tears hot against my chilled skin. He crouches down,
blade hanging between his legs, his gaze stripping me bare and burning me alive.
Your father took something.
He pauses, his eyes briefly closing.
Something irreplaceable from me.
My heart stalls, and I sniff, trying to stop my nose from running with my tears. My father? I don't... He shoots up from his position, pacing across the room until he meets the chair, his hand wrapping around the back and flinging it toward me. My lungs seize, stomach dropping to the floor as the wood splinters next to my head, my hair blowing from the force of it smashing against the wall. He stalks back to me, lunging forward and gripping my jaw tightly in his hands.
Don't play innocent, you vapid, stupid girl.
My heart claws at my chest, hiccups stuttering my breath as his insults and small pieces of wood slice like paper cuts along my skin. Looking straight into his eyes, I search for a sliver of the man I thought I knew, the man who I gave everything to. But he's long gone. Or maybe he never existed at all. He's right. I am a stupid girl. My tongue swipes out, getting caught on the rough, chapped edges of my lips, and I speak slowly, trepidation filling me from the inside out. This man, Hook, is a stranger, and something whispers in the back of my head to tread carefully, to do whatever it takes to just stay alive. My father will come for me. He has to. James, I speak slowly. If my father, if he did something. His sharp laugh soars through the air, his grip tightening until my teeth cut into skin.
You showed up at my bar, he hisses, and then you distracted me when others needed me most.
I attempt to shake my head, but his grasp is strong, his eyes wild as they stare into mine before flicking to the chains at my side. My insides are twisted in tight coils, nerve endings frazzled and frayed, and I watch this stranger as he rages at me with the fire of 1,000 suns. He looks like he wants to kill me. My fingers press into the ground at my sides, my heart beating in my throat. Leaning his head to the side, his eyes close in a slow blink, and when they open, the fire has been doused. He's a blank slate, his gaze just 2 vacant holes, rimmed in blue. The grip on my jaw loosens, his gloved fingers caressing my skin like a lover, before his focus flicks to the bindings on the wall. I inhale, holding it in my lungs, afraid to even breathe, worried that it might set him off again. He stands, pulling something out of his pocket. My body cowers, chest squeezing as he nears. He hovers above me, his spicy scent invading my nostrils and making me hate myself for the way my heart skips at the smell. A jostling sensation on my wrist, and then a click, followed by pinpricks of pain lancing down my arms as blood flows freely back into my hand. He's unlocking my chains.
I find it's rather exotic having you cuffed to my walls, he says as he moves to the other side. But you're no use to me damaged.
I pull my arms to my chest, my fingers rubbing against the raw skin of my wrist.
At least, not at the moment.
His face comes within inches of mine, my stomach compressing at the sudden movement.
If you act out, I will retaliate.
Heartbreak sits heavy in my gut, rising up and coating my throat like bile. What could you possibly do that you haven't already done? His eyes dance over my face, almost as if he's memorizing the lines. The sudden switch of his demeanor makes unease weave through my every cell. He leans in, pressing his lips to mine. My body freezes in place, eyes widening. His thumb caresses my cheek.
You will eat. You will drink the water we provide.
His fingers reach around to the nape of my neck, squeezing slightly.
And you will not do anything reckless or I will chain you to the ceiling and rain your blood onto the floor."
Betrayal lodges deeper with each word he says until it fills up every pore and marinates in my blood.
"I hate you," I whisper.
He smirks before he forcefully tosses my head away, my hands catching my body as I tumble sideways, my elbows cracking as they hit the ground. Standing up, he runs his gloved palms down the front of his suit.
"Do not make the mistake of thinking I'm someone you can disrespect."
Nausea sloshes through my gut. I watch from my spot on the floor as he moves to the end table, collecting the stack of pixie dust and heading toward the door. He pauses at the threshold, turning to look at me.
"Do try to behave, darling. I'd hate to have to punish you."
And then he turns, and once again, I'm all alone.
27. James. It's been 3 days since I took Wendy from her home and stashed her in the basement of the JR. In that time, I've felt more emotion than the previous 15 years combined. My nights are restless in a way they've never been before. Dreams of Rue rising from the grave and telling me how I failed him keep me wide awake and frazzled. Funny how he once stopped my nightmares, only to become them in the end. Life is always full circle, I suppose. That combined with the continual disappearance of our crates, and my insides are wound tight, a live wire waiting to be tripped. And Wendy. Well, it's a shame it's gotten to this point, but there's nothing to be done for it now. I'll still use her for the same purpose, only in the end, instead of allowing her to go free, I'll make her watch as I drain the life from her father's eyes. And then I'll do the same to her. There's a sharp ache in my chest at the thought, but I take another sip of brandy and let the burn of liquor numb the pain. The ice clinks in my glass as I set it down and settle into my chair, watching Wendy on the cameras and twirling an invitation to tonight's charity gala. She's cross-legged in the middle of the room, her eyes closed and hands on her legs, almost as if she's in deep meditation. Starkey sits across from me, and I lean forward, placing my elbows on the desk. "Tell me again," I say slowly, "who went with Rue to his meeting?" Starkey's jaw is set, his light brown hair ruffling against his fingers as he combs through the strands. "Nobody." "Nobody," I repeat. He lifts a shoulder. "Didn't even tell anyone he was going." Irritation snaps in my veins, paper crumpling under my fingers. "You're sure?" Starkey's leg bounces against the floor, and my eyes dip down, tracking the movement. Annoyance flows through me like an untapped faucet, and I bite my cheek so hard, copper floods my mouth. Yeah, boss, I'm sure." A pounding forms between my eyes, and I sigh, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Get out of my sight." "But we still have to—" I shoot from my chair, picking up my knife and flinging it toward him, lodging it into the far wall. I said, "Leave." My knuckles ache as they press into the wood of my desk, and I look down, breathing deeply to keep my temper at bay. "Before my aim improves." He leaves within seconds, the soft click of the door making my shoulders drop. The heartbeat in my ears combined with the grinding of my teeth is a symphony of sound, accompanying the tornado of white-hot frustration whipping through my insides, so potent I can't drown it out. It's been almost a week since Rue's murder, and still I'm no closer to answers. Shipments are going missing, Peter Michaels is doing everything to control my streets, and now I'm supposed to step into Rue's shoes and take over officially as the boss. A title I've never been interested in having. Add on top of that the infuriating woman in my basement, and I feel like a blank jigsaw puzzle with 1,000 scattered pieces. Someone knocks on the office door, and I heave a breath. "Come in." Curly walks through, his chin dipping in acknowledgement. "Any new developments?" I ask. He shakes his head, walking over to where Wendy sits in silence on the screen. Nope. She pretty much just does that all the time. Glancing down at the invitation in my palm, an idea forms in my mind. After all, I know Peter will be there. He's their guest of honor, and it's the first time he'll be in Massachusetts since the night of Rue's death. It's time to show him what happens when you underestimate a monster. A thrill zips through me, lighting up my stomach and electrifying my veins at the thought of finally putting my plan into action. And Wendy is going to help me do it, whether she wants to or not. Miss me, darling? I ask as I walk into the darkened room. Wendy still sits in the centre, her eyes closed and legs crossed. Like a hole in the head, she replies. A chuckle bubbles up my throat, but I bite it back. Leaning against the wall, I watch her, my chest pulling tight as I take in the bruising on her wrists and the matted strands of her hair. She peeks open an eye, then snaps it shut when she meets my gaze. People are going to notice I'm gone, you know. I nod, placing my hands in my pockets. I'm counting on it. Both of her eyes open at this, her stare locking on mine, sending a flash of heat through my abdomen. My father will come for me. I tilt my head. Are you quite sure? She hesitates, her jaw tightening as she looks away. Of course. Right. I straighten off the wall, walking toward her. In any case, he won't need to. We're going to him. Her head snaps in my direction, and she scrambles to her feet. I continue my slow steps in her direction, and she stiffens, her feet moving backward as if she can break away. Her back hits the stone wall, and I walk into her body, my hips pressing against her, arms reaching up to cage her in. Where do you think you could run to, Wendy, darling? I move my palm from the wall, my fingers wrapping lightly around her neck. Even if you were to escape this room, there's nowhere you could go that I wouldn't find you. She bares her teeth, her breathing shaky. Get your hands off me. Her arm moves quickly, palm open and swinging toward my face. My stomach jumps as I grab her wrist before it hits, twisting until her body spins. She grunts as my torso pushes into her forcefully, my free hand pressing against the back of her head until her cheek is flush against the wall, her arm locked behind her, wedged between us. I lean in, my chin resting on her shoulder. I'm not a fan of repeating myself, so I suggest you listen close. She jerks her arm, her elbow grazing my stomach, and I tighten my grip. I'm going to take you to my home, where I'll allow you to shower and make yourself presentable. You're disgusting. My stomach twists. That may be, but until I decide otherwise, I'm also your master. She scoffs, her body writhing against mine, causing blood to flow to my groin, my cock twitching. I smirk. Do continue, sweetheart. I love it when you fight. Her body stiffens. I release her and she spins around, her eyes narrowed as she grips her wrist, her fingers massaging the red marks. A flare of concern trickles through my mind, but I bat it away. A little bruising won't hurt near as bad as the wounds she's caused, and in the end, it won't matter once she's dead. I have an event tonight, I say, and I'd like you to accompany me. She huffs out a laugh, but after a few seconds it quiets, her eyes widening. You're serious? I am. Go to hell, she spits. All right. I pull my phone from my pocket, bringing it up to my ear. What are you... I hold up a finger, silencing her. Hi, yes, Mrs. Henderson. It's so nice to hear your voice. This is James Barry. Wendy's gasp sends a rush of satisfaction through my veins. A grin breaks across my face, and I wink. Can you please let Headmaster Dixon know that I'll be coming to pick up Jonathan Michaels? You bastard! Her voice is pinched, and my eyes glance to hers, a spike of something. coasting through my chest. I cover the mouthpiece with my hand, my brows raising. Come again, darling? I couldn't quite hear you. I point to my phone. Important business, you know? I called you a bastard, she hisses. Her palms press into her eyes, her head shaking. I'll do whatever you want. Just please. The knot in my stomach loosens at her agreement, and I nod. You know, never mind, Mrs. Henderson. It appears my plans have changed. I do hope you have a wonderful day. I hang up, sliding the phone back in my pocket, and walk toward her. I stop when the tips of my shoes press against the bare skin of her toes. My fingers tilt up her chin. I do regret that it's come to this. It didn't have to be this way. But we all have times in our lives where we must pick a side. Her brows furrow. What? I run a finger down her jaw. Unfortunately, you picked wrong. I drop my hand from her face and turn toward the door. I'll be back soon, and it would do you well to remember what's at stake.
All right. And that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. You've enjoyed the 4 chapters we've gone over today. I will see you guys on, I believe, Sunday, if not Monday, for a live stream. And yeah, if you're on Patreon, I'll see you Friday. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Love you guys all, and peace.